Marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Obesity is hard. Being fit is hard. Choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Life doesn't come with easy options. It comes with choices, and every choice has its price. Staying where you are is hard. Changing is hard. Struggling every day with something you hate is hard. But waking up and grinding for something you love, that's hard too. So the question isn't how to avoid difficulty. The real question is, which version of hard are you willing to endure? Will you choose the slow burn of regret or the fierce fire of becoming? We've been conditioned to believe that playing it safe will spare us from pain. But the truth is, pain finds everyone. It just shows up in different clothes. The pain of discipline, of risk, of growth, or the pain of inaction, bitterness, and watching your potential slowly fade. If pain is part of the package either way, why not choose the one that comes with purpose? Why not lean into the version that transforms you instead of the one that erodes you? This is where the path begins. Not with a roadmap, but with a decision. A decision to stop waiting, to stop wishing, to stop wondering what might have been. If you want something different, you have to do something different. That means facing the resistance, walking through the discomfort, and choosing your heart, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. If there's one thing life won't spare you from, it's pain. Not because you failed, not because you're weak, but because pain is the cost of becoming more than you were. And here's the truth, everyone's gonna hurt. But the difference, some people use that pain as fuel, others let it freeze them. That's why this isn't just about pain. It's about the kind of pain you choose. Let me show you what that looks like. There was a young man who had a dream to open his own gym, not a big franchise, not some polished chain, but a place where broken people could rebuild themselves. He had no money, no investors, no roadmap, just a job at a warehouse and a notebook full of plans. So he worked double shifts, vacants. He saved every cent. He studied business after midnight when his body ached from lifting boxes all day. His friends started going out without him. He missed birthdays. He missed sleep. And sometimes he missed his old life, the one that felt easier. But still, he showed up every single day because he knew this was the pain of building. And 4 years later, he unlocked the doors to a gym that was more than a place. It was a movement. That's the pain of perseverance. That's the kind of pain that pays off. And then there was someone else I knew. A woman who had a gift for speaking. Whenever she told a story, people stopped. She had something rare, a presence, a way of making people believe. For years, people told her she should start a podcast, write a book, share her story. And every year, she'd say, maybe next year. She waited for perfect timing, waited to feel ready, waited until the fear passed, but the fear never left. And one day she woke up and realized all those years she thought she was protecting herself from failure, she was actually collecting regret. Her gift was still inside her, but so were all the dreams she never dared to bring to life. That's the pain of inaction, of silence, the kind that doesn't hurt loud, but deep. These two stories aren't just about other people, they're about all of us. Because every single day we face that same decision, the pain of growth or the pain of regret. Both will cost you, both will stretch you, but only one leads you forward. So the next time it hurts, don't pull away, don't hide. Look that pain in the eye and ask yourself, what kind of pain is this? Is this the pain of building something that matters, of becoming someone better? Or is this the pain of staying small, of watching life pass you by while you wait for a moment that may never come? When you choose the pain of discipline, the pain of showing up even when you're tired, the pain of being misunderstood, the pain of learning something new, you are buying your future at full price. And yes, it's expensive. But so is regret. The only difference is one rewards you later, the other punishes you forever. Give me the pain of growth. Give me the pain of perseverance. That needs to be your mindset. Not because you enjoy the struggle, but because you believe in what's on the other side of it. Every step you take toward your vision is painful, but it's not pointless. You may not see the reward yet, but it's coming. And when it does, when you finally look back and realize how far you've come, you'll be grateful for every ache, every tear, every lonely night, because you'll know you didn't settle. You didn't sit on your gift. You didn't let life pass you by. Every single day of my life, I'll take reward over regret. Let that be your code. Let that be the standard. Let that be the way you choose your pain. If pain is the cost of transformation, then belief is the fuel that keeps you moving when nothing else makes sense. Because once you've chosen the path of growth, once you've decided that the pain is worth the reward, you'll still be met with resistance. Doubt will whisper. Fear will shout. The world will throw distractions, obligations, criticism. It will try to convince you that the vision you had was just a phase, just a dream, just some fantasy you were never meant to reach. But hear me when I say this, never let the dream die, because your dream didn't come to you by accident. It showed up for a reason, and not everybody gets one. There are people walking through life numb, directionless, detached from meaning. But if you've ever felt the fire of a vision pulling you forward even once, even for a moment, that's sacred. That's a calling. And it's not supposed to make sense to everyone else. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to test your will, your patience, your faith in yourself. But that doesn't mean it's not real. You may have laid that dream down for a while. Maybe life got in the way. Maybe you made sacrifices. Maybe you got tired, hurt, or just lost track of what mattered most. But I need you to know it's still there, still alive, still waiting, still possible. You just have to be willing to pick it back up. Pick your dream back up. Kill the noise. The noise is loud. It's the voice of comparison telling you you're behind. The voice of perfectionism saying it's not good enough. The voice of fear pretending it's being realistic. But none of those voices care about your purpose. None of them know what you're capable of. You've got to silence that static, not with shouting, but with action. Action is the only thing louder than fear. Let me tell you about someone who almost let their dream die. She was a writer, and not just any writer. She wrote stories that stirred the soul, stories that made strangers cry. But after her first rejection letter, then her fifth, then her 20th, she stopped. She said maybe she wasn't good enough. Maybe the world didn't need her voice. So she stacked her notebooks in a closet and took a job at a call center. Years passed, her spark faded. But something inside her, something quiet but relentless, refused to quit. One night after a long shift and a quiet dinner alone, she pulled the old manuscript out of the box. Her hands shook as she read it again. But this time she didn't stop. This time she edited, she refined it, she sent it again. And again, on the 42nd submission, someone said yes. And that yes became the beginning of a story that would change her life and thousands of others. The dream didn't die. It just waited for her to believe in it again. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're sitting on something powerful, a business idea, a passion project, a message, a movement, a version of your life you've only imagined but never given permission to become real. And maybe for a while you let it go. But the truth is, dreams don't expire, they just go quiet. And they can come back the moment you say, I'm ready. You don't need all the answers. You just need to return to that place in your heart where the fire still burns. You need to remember why you started, who you were before the fear, what it felt like to believe you were made for something more. You need to come back to yourself, the bold, beautiful, wildly imperfect version of you who was never afraid to dream out loud. Persistence isn't about being fearless. It's about showing up even when the fear is screaming. It's about walking toward your future when everyone else is retreating to comfort. It's knowing that belief. Belief in the dream, belief in yourself doesn't fade unless you let it. So if you're wondering if it's too late, it's not. If you're wondering if you're too broken, you're not. If you're wondering if you're allowed to try again, you are. Right now, you're allowed to change directions. You're allowed to rise from the ashes. You're allowed to dream bigger than before. And you're allowed to do it without permission, without certainty, and without apology. Because the people who change their lives, the ones who rise, rebuild, and leave a mark, they're not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. So I'll say it again, never let the dream die. Once you've reignited your dream, once you've recommitted to the journey, now comes the part that breaks most people. The long middle, the messy middle, the part where it doesn't feel inspiring anymore, and the results don't show up as fast as the work, where the adrenaline wears off. And all you're left with is effort, repetition, and silence. This is where you start to ask, is this worth it? And I'll tell you right now, it is. Not just because of what's waiting at the finish line, but because of what's already behind you. You've invested too much to walk away. You've sacrificed time, comfort, maybe even relationships, maybe even parts of yourself to get here. And that has to mean something. It has to count for more than just a footnote in your story. Quitting now wouldn't just erase what you're building, it would erase everything you've already endured to get this far. And you didn't fight through the storm just to give up in the drizzle. You see, momentum is a quiet force. It's not loud or flashy. It builds like a heartbeat, steady, small, and then suddenly it's unstoppable. But momentum only rewards those who keep moving. Not fast, not perfect, just forward. When it gets hard, you don't have to sprint, you just have to refuse to stand still. This is where legends are made, in the extra rounds, the late nights, the days you show up when everything in you says don't. Think of a boxer with nothing left in the tank, bloody, exhausted, staggering on his feet. But he throws one more punch, and somehow it lands. That's what life is asking of you now. Not for the cleanest technique, not for the prettiest fight, just one more swing. Because we're not talking about not quitting anymore, we're talking about taking the prize home. We're talking about owning what you came for, about holding the line until the tide turns in your favor. And it will. It always does. Just never as quickly as you hoped and never as easily as you wanted. But the ones who get there are the ones who don't stop when it gets quiet. They don't stop when it gets boring. They don't stop when it hurts. They stop when the job is done. Legacy isn't built in one decision. It's built in thousands of them small private choices to keep going when no one is watching. To keep showing up for your goal, for your calling, for your future, even when nobody's clapping, even when nobody's listening. That's where greatness is born. In the trenches, in the repetition, in the stillness between effort and outcome. And it's not just about you anymore. There are people you haven't even met yet whose lives will be changed because you didn't quit. People who will find courage through your endurance. People who will believe again, not because of your success, but because of your resilience. So when you feel yourself slipping, remember the miles already traveled. Remember the weight already carried. Remember the sacrifices already made. You are not starting from zero. You are standing on a mountain of effort. Don't stop halfway up. Don't let fatigue rob you of the summit. This is your moment to decide what kind of story you're going to leave behind. Will it be a story of almost or a story of overcoming? Will it be a chapter that ends in hesitation or one that echoes with, I finished what I started? You didn't come this far to stop. You came this far to claim what's yours. To turn momentum into mastery, to turn endurance into legacy, so digin. Keep swinging, because you're not just running a race, you're building a name that will outlast you. You're still here, and that means something. You've already proven that you can show up when it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's unclear. But now it's time to turn that endurance into fire. Not just motion, but momentum. Not just hustle, but purpose. because grinding without direction will burn you out. But when you move with meaning, when your fight is fueled by something deeper, nothing can stop you. This is about why you get back up. Why do you show up tired? Why do you run when your legs are shot? Why do you keep swinging when the outcome is uncertain? Someone once asked, why are you still out there? Why haven't you quit? And the answer was simple, because I'm trying to get it. You're chasing something real, not applause, not validation. You're chasing that moment, that singular, undeniable moment when the work pays off, when the sacrifices make sense, when the sweat and the setbacks and the nights you cried in silence all stack up to a breakthrough that can't be taken away. That's why you stay in the ring. That's why you keep grinding when no one's watching. You're not just checking boxes, you're building something that matters. But here's the truth, grit without purpose is a trap. You'll hustle yourself into exhaustion if you don't know why you're running. So ask yourself, what am I fighting for? Who am I fighting for? And is the life I'm building one I actually want to live? When your work is tied to your purpose, the pain doesn't break you, it builds you. You stop avoiding hard things because you know they're the doorway to everything worth having. You stop fearing failure because you understand that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the path to it. Pain is your friend. It takes you to the next level. It refines your edge. It clears out the noise. It reminds you what's at stake. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who didn't just rise but endured. The ones who outlasted the odds, kept going when it was unfair, when they were doubted, when nobody would have blamed them for quitting. You look at those people and you don't just see work ethic, you see fire. You see conviction. You see someone who wasn't just working hard, they were working like their life depended on it. Because in a way it did. And so does yours. Because how you move, how you commit, how you persist is a direct reflection of what you believe your life is worth. If you believe your story matters, you move differently. If you believe your future has value, you fight differently. You don't coast through the day. You don't half show up. You grind with fire. You build with urgency. You love, lead, and live like it all counts, because it does. Purpose isn't something you find, it's something you choose. You choose it every day when you show up with intention. When you do the hard thing with heart, when you push past resistance and say, this still matters. So if you're going to give your time, your effort, your energy, make it count. Don't just chase the dream, build it with fire, back it with action, infuse it with why, and when it hurts, and it will hurt, don't pull back. Let the pain shape you. Let it teach you. Let it take you higher, because this isn't just hustle. It's purpose-driven grit. And it's how your story breaks through the noise and becomes one that the world can't ignore. There's a side of you the world rarely sees, the part that's not soft, not scared, not cautious. The part that wants to dominate, that wants to break through every wall, tear down every excuse, and own every second of this life. But most people have spent so long suppressing that side, they've forgotten it exists. We're told to play nice, be humble, wait your turn. But here's the truth. You should be a monster, then learn how to control it. Aggression isn't the enemy. Uncontrolled aggression is. But trained, focused, disciplined aggression, that's power. That's the fire that moves mountains. That's the inner engine you tap into when your back's against the wall, when it's game time and there's no one coming to save you. You need that gear, because in this world, passive doesn't get results. Hesitant doesn't win. Waiting doesn't build a legacy. Only those who step forward with conviction take control of their story. Train yourself to think aggressively. That doesn't mean reckless. It doesn't mean loud. It means decisive. It means forward moving. It means when a problem shows up, your mindset is, I'll handle it. When an obstacle appears, you don't fold, you fire up. You face it head on. Why? Because you've trained for this. Because you've claimed ownership of your life and you no longer wait for permission to take the next step. This is where ownership and aggression meet, where you stop blaming the world. Stop blaming your past, stop blaming the system, and start owning everything. Own your results, own your habits, own your time, especially your time. Every second you give to distractions, to excuses, to other people's agendas, you're giving away pieces of your story, and no one is going to hand you that time back. So stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop shrinking so others feel comfortable. Stop pretending you don't care when deep down you do. Be dangerous not to hurt others, but to protect your purpose. Be powerful not to intimidate, but to execute. And most of all, be accountable. Because when you own everything, nothing owns you. You're not at the mercy of your circumstances. You're not a bystander in your own life. You're the one behind the wheel, and it's time to drive like it. When you train your aggression, when you guide it with clarity and control, you become a force. You don't just hope things go your way, you make them. You don't just dream, you build. You don't just survive, you lead. And maybe no one's ever told you that it's okay to be intense, to be fierce, to want to win. But let this be that moment. Let this be the day you stop tiptoeing around your potential and start charging toward it. You weren't born to be passive. You were built for impact. And impact takes energy. Focused, trained, relentless energy. So be the one who takes full ownership of your time, your power, your future. Be the one who stops waiting and starts attacking the day with purpose, because the clock's ticking and nobody's coming to rescue your dream. Once you take full ownership of your outcomes, the next frontier is mastering the resource. Everyone swears they don't have enough of time, but time isn't just a measurement on a clock, it's a mindset, a tool, a mirror reflecting what you truly prioritize. And when you learn to bend it, when you realize your 24 hours aren't fixed but expandable, that's when your whole life starts to shift. Most people move through the day as if they're passengers, letting time happen to them. But what if you restructured your day not around hours but around outcomes? Imagine this: my day is 6 a.m. to noon. That's one day. Everything I need to get done, focus work, workouts, deep learning creation, gets packed into that block. I compress a full day's worth of movement into a 6-hour sprint, then I reset from noon to 6 p.m. That's another day. After that, I still have one more. 3 days and one, that's time bending. It's not about working 20 hours a day. It's about working with such clarity and intensity that what takes others a week you do in a day. It's about removing noise, locking in and moving like your window is closing, because it is. Every hour you spend reacting is an hour you didn't invest in building. But when you learn to stack intentional days, something wild happens. You can stack 21 days a week, and over a year, your life will be unrecognizable. You don't need more time. You need more intensity, more intentionality, more grip on what matters. Ask yourself, how often do you check your phone without thinking? How many meetings are you in that don't matter? How many hours do you lose to things that add zero value to your life or legacy? Mastering time is not about hustle porn or burning yourself out. It's about finally aligning how you spend your minutes with what you say your mission is. Your calendar reveals your character. Your habits reveal your hunger. And your ability to direct your focus is the single greatest advantage you'll ever have. The truth is, most people waste years trying to find motivation, but what they really need is structure. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And when you treat every block of time like it matters, like it's fuel for your dream, you become someone different. You move through the day not as a consumer, but as a creator. You stop saying, I don't have time, and start asking, where did I give it away? When you live like that, you don't just get more done, you grow more. You lead more, you become more. Your time becomes a multiplier, a weapon, a legacy tool. Because you're not just working for today, you're building a tomorrow. Most people will never touch, so forget waiting for perfect conditions. Forget hoping for more hours. You've already got the same 24 as every champion you admire. The difference is how you see them, how you use them, and how fiercely you protect them. Don't just manage time, bend it. You've learned how to own your time. You've learned how to move with force. But now we get to the root of it all. The reason some people rise and others fold, it's not the resources, not the connections, not even the talent. It's the will. Because when everything goes sideways, and it will, skill alone won't save you. Your plans will fall apart. Your confidence will waver, and that's when the real test begins. You're in a test of your will. Do you want it badly enough to crawl when you can't walk? To build when nothing around you looks like progress? To believe when every voice says quit? That's what separates people. Not who was smartest in the room, not who had the best idea, but who refused to back down when life got heavy, who chose persistence over perfection, who chose fire over fear. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to know how to win. You just have to be someone who won't stop showing up. Someone who refuses to let failure define the final chapter. Because sometimes the mountain won't move. And in those moments, you move yourself. You grow stronger legs. You build a bigger heart. You build a mind that no storm can shake. Because storms will come. The kind that will take everything not nailed down. And the only thing that will hold is your will, your reason, your resolve, your refusal to let this life pass you by without a fight. That's what this is about. That's what this whole journey has been building toward. Not just hustle, not just strategy, but belief. Deep belief. A fire that says, I don't need to be the best. I just need to outlast the ones who gave up. A mindset that screams, you're not taking this from me. Not today. Not ever. You only have one choice. Be remembered or become a legend. Being remembered is good. It means you did something worth noticing. But becoming a legend, that means you rewrote the rules. That means you didn't wait to be chosen. You chose yourself. You went into the dark with nothing but grit and came out with gold. So what if you're not the most gifted? So what if nobody's clapping for you right now? Legends aren't born with applause, they're built in silence. In the early mornings, in the quiet grind, in the moments when no one's watching but you keep going anyway. Because you've decided, you've drawn a line, you've told the world I will not be denied. And in the end, that's what will carry you, not the titles, not the trophies, but the mindset that never broke even when everything around you did. That's not just a story. That's the making of a legacy. When your mindset is unshakable, the next transformation happens in how you see wealth, not just the kind you can touch, but the kind that changes lives. Because here's the truth, real. Wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your mind. If your beliefs are bankrupt, it doesn't matter what's in your bank. If your habits are in debt, no check will ever set you free. You see, we spend so much of our lives in survival mode, chasing money just to stay afloat. Living paycheck to paycheck, not just financially, but emotionally. We hustle out of fear, not vision. We work for money, but never make it work for us. And that's the trap, staying stuck in cycles that never create freedom, only fatigue. But something shifts when you stop seeing money as just a lifeline and start seeing it as leverage. You begin to ask better questions. Not, how do I earn more, but what do I own? Because wealthy people own things. They own time. They own space. They own their decisions. And eventually they own assets that build more freedom. So start with what you consume. Start owning what you consume. That phone, you scroll. Start creating content. That coffee shop you visit, can you invest in the supply chain behind it? Every dollar you spend is a vote. So ask yourself, are you voting for someone else's dream or building your own? And don't let anyone fool you. You don't have to come from wealth to build it. Some of the most brilliant financial minds in the world didn't start in boardrooms, they started with nothing. In struggle, in scarcity. Some even started behind bars where the hustle wasn't about stocks, it was about survival. But once they got out, they learned the system, and then they beat it. That's the new hustle. From prison hustle to stock hustle. From street smarts to financial literacy. From check cashing to wealth building. You learn the rules not to play the game, but to change it. To pass something down to your kids, besides trauma and debt. To break cycles that swallow generations before you. But this takes sacrifice, not just the sacrifice of money, but of comfort, of short-term gratification, of the image you built for people who don't even matter. The real flex isn't designer shoes, it's designing a life where you never have to check the price tag again, where your time belongs to you, where your choices aren't made by desperation but by vision. And wealth isn't just numbers, it's options. The option to say no, the option to walk away, the option to build something that lives longer than you do. So if you've been struggling, fighting, surviving, that doesn't disqualify you, it qualifies you. Because once you've had to hustle for survival, you already have the discipline. You already know how to go without. Now all you need is the strategy, the structure, the ownership mindset that says, this story ends differently with me. Stop just working for money. Start working for freedom, for equity, for legacy. Because wealth is not the reward, it's the tool, and you're the one who decides how to use it. If you've made it this far, you already know the journey isn't easy. You've heard the stories of struggle, of reinvention, of grit, and now here's a truth you can't outrun. Pain is coming either way. That's not a threat, it's a fact. You can't opt out of discomfort in this life. But what you can choose is what that pain produces. You can choose the pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment. You can choose the pain of growth or the pain of staying exactly where you are. You can choose the pain of hard conversations, late nights, and showing up, or the pain of watching your potential slowly fade into what could have been. It's simple. Choose your pain, choose your reward. Because pain is not the enemy. Wasted pain is. If you're going to cry, let it be on the way to victory. If you're going to hurt, let that hurt carve the muscle of character into your bones. If I'm going to cry, let me cry on the way to victory. Let every tear be a down payment on a future you refuse to give up on. Think about it. You're already tired, already stretched, already struggling in some area of your life. So why let that pain leave you empty? Why not make it pay rent, make it earn interest? If you're going to hurt, make it count, make it yours. The truth is, too many people go through pain and walk away with nothing. They don't ask why it came, they don't learn from it. They just suffer through it, bitter, resentful, and unchanged. But others, they let pain shape them. They let it teach them, and they walk away not broken, but rebuilt. Stronger, wiser, sharper. Power doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from harnessing it. From leaning into it and saying, okay, if I'm going through this, it's going to mean something. I'm coming out of this with purpose. I'm not wasting a second of this struggle. And it's not just the big dramatic pain. It's the small ones too. The 5 a.m. alarm when your body aches. The lonely hours grinding while others sleep. The sting of rejection, the frustration of failing again, these are all part of it. These are the bricks of greatness. If you choose to stack them, the pain you avoid today will be the price you pay tomorrow. But the pain you choose today, that's the power you carry for the rest of your life. So don't just endure pain, enlist it. Let it train you, fuel you, elevate you. Let it remind you that you are stronger than whatever tried to stop you. You don't get to escape the fire, but you do get to choose whether it burns you down or forges you into steel. Choose wisely. Let's be honest, none of this is easy. It's not easy to release what's behind you. It's not easy to give your time, your energy, your gifts, balancing work and life. That's hard. Learning something new, hard. Feeling stuck and doing nothing, still hard. Grinding non-stop, hard. Wasting your potential. Just as hard, building strong relationships takes effort. Learning from your mistakes takes humility. Turning your lowest moments into a message that can help others, that takes real courage. Every path comes with its own weight. Holding on is hard. Letting go is hard. But through every hardship, there's a choice waiting on the other side, reward or regret. Every decision carries a consequence. One road leads to growth and fulfillment, the other to bitterness and loss. But no matter how tough the season is, hold on to hope, because pain ends. It always does. And yes, another challenge will come, but you'll face it stronger, more equipped, because you endured what came before it with grace and grit. Everyone wants the victory, but few are willing to die to their comfort, to their pride, to their old selves. But here's the truth. There's pain that just hurts, and there's pain that transforms. You get to choose. So today, don't aim for easy. Choose your hard. And choose the hard that builds you. Before we part ways, I want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up, not just to this message, but to your life. For staying through the hard parts, for listening with an open heart, for being willing to face the mirror and ask what more is possible for me. It takes courage to do that. It takes strength to even consider change. And if you've made it this far, I want you to know, I see that in you. I believe in that version of you that's still fighting, still hoping, still reaching for something greater. Wherever you are right now, whether you're winning, struggling, rebuilding, or just beginning, I hope you carry one truth with you: you matter. Your story matters. Your voice, your dream, your presence in this world. It all matters more than you know. I'm wishing you boldness when fear tries to talk you down. I'm wishing you peace when the chaos gets loud. I'm wishing you grace when you stumble, and pride when you rise again, because you will. You're built for this. You've always been. So thank you truly for walking this road with me today. And as you step back into your life, I hope you do it with fire in your heart and faith in your steps. Go chase that dream. Go build something you're proud of. Go live the kind of story you'd be proud to tell. Much love. And until next time, keep going. You're just getting started.